Welcome on in, Sports Radio 94 WIP. It is the Midday Show. Hugh Douglas, Joe Giglio, Kyle Quinn behind the glass. You guys with us. 215-592-9494. That is how you get aboard on this Tuesday as the city still basks in the glory of the Sixers landing a marquee free agent, Paul George. A lot to discuss today, including the Sixers team and where they are now in the hierarchy of the league. Good morning, Hugh.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Philly. Hey, make sure you get to work on time. That's all. I think that's the one I'm going to go with this morning.
Even when you're literally at work,
hey,
get
I'm
to where you're supposed to be.
Make sure you're supposed to be where you're supposed to be.
Show starts at 10 o'clock, Hugh.
Yeah, I got out there talking about Mayor John Ritchie. We were chopping it up. We don't get a chance to chop it up that much. And I forgot I had to actually do a job this morning.
What are we paying for? I saw you out there. It's like, all right, we'll stall for him. All right, good morning, everybody. It is the Midday Show. Hugh, the excitement is still out there. People are very, very pumped that Paul George chose the Sixers, $212 million. And you wake up this morning and you go over to FanDuel Sportsbook. You know what it says?
What's that?
It says only one team has better or shorter odds to win the NBA championship than your Philadelphia 76ers. That would be the Celtics. That's it. Nobody else has shorter odds in the league to win the NBA title. So it seems like, at least in the eyes of FanDuel or Vegas, that Paul George automatically makes the Sixers
game changer,
NBA Finals worthy. Hugh, you agree? Does
Yes.
Paul George move the needle?
I like it. Listen, and I'm not a dummy because I know some people out there are going to call me an idiot and say that, Hugh, Joel Embiid is barely healthy for the most part. I mean, I know that, but if he is healthy, Paul George helps us win. And, Embiid is the type of guy that if he's not on the court, it makes us a lot worse team. But when he's on the court, we're that much better. It's 1,000%. We're 1,000% better with him on the court. We're 1,000% worse with him off the court. And that's no lie. But having Paul George, it feels like you're going to have a guy who on certain nights, he's going to be able to give you whatever it is that's needed on that night. That kind of versatility. Now, I know he's not the player that he used to be. He's a little bit older. But I think that he is going to give you more than what we've had from any other position, from that position than we've had in the past.
Well, Brian Windhorst, ESPN, Windy, he agrees with you and a lot of people out there that this puts the Sixers, it's elevated them. Just George being here automatically puts Sixers in that category. Here's Windy.
The fit here is perfect. He fits alongside Tyrese Maxey beautifully. And congratulations to Tyrese. Woj tells us he's got a $204 million deal this morning. He has absolutely earned that. He fits next to Joel Embiid as the wing in between the point guard and the big man. And you have got a bona fide contender here. Now, they've got to build out this roster, and they've obviously, as Shannon said, got to be healthy. But you look at this team, you look at Philly, New York, Boston. The Northeast is now a power center in the NBA.
So I agree with that. The Eastern Conference goes through the Northeast, right? It goes through the Celtics,
no question,
number one, and the Sixers and Knicks will fight for number two. I put Milwaukee down a little bit. So here's where I'm at on this. Paul George obviously moves the Sixers, increases their chances, obviously.
He moves them in the right direction.
He does. They're a better team today than they were yesterday. They are way better with him than they were with Tobias Harris. It's not even close. It's not even close.
Got $52 million.
Yeah, he did, which is unbelievable. He found another team.
Still blowing my mind.
He's still stealing money. So, but here's title contention is different than just like, hey, we're good. Hey, we're better than we were last year. I don't believe that George just signing on the dotted line makes them an automatic NBA championship. First of all, they need to do more. We don't even know who the starting five is right now, right?
Eric Gordon.
So we're starting Gordon.
Yeah, we're starting Gordon.
Gordon,
Kelly
Oubre, and then the big three?
Yeah,
okay. So we're starting
right now.
So a team that's currently slated to start Eric Gordon, you guys want me to say is an automatic championship team.
I think this is a fluid situation still.
I agree.
I think that when you talk about how much money you have in cap space to sign somebody, that might not be – you're probably not going to go get a big-name free agent. You're probably going to have to go, and do the best that you possibly can to sign somebody. But I like presently what the team looks like right now.
Well, they've done for the first 2 or 3 days of free agency, they've done almost as much as you can, and they have more work to do. But the way I view it is, not yet. I'm not ready to say that George just signing on the dotted line and saying, "I'll take your $212 million," makes this team an automatic NBA championship, like a real. And when I say contender, because I know everyone has different definitions of it, I don't mean good team. I don't mean second round. When I think contender,
you mean going to the finals?
Or at least the conference finals.
The finals. Yeah.
You're in the final four. Like you can win the whole thing. I'm not quite there yet on the Sixers. We don't know who the starting five is, and I do think continuity matters.
Yeah.
Teams that win, they play together a lot, right? They've had either years together or a lot of
kind of like Boston.
Even let's go to 2 years ago, Denver, right? Jokic and Murray and Porter played a lot of games together over a group of years, and they grew together. And I don't know. And we were trying to guess yesterday how many games will all three of the big three play together this year. I hope it's 75, but it could be 60, right? So when we get to the playoffs, like, will they be gelled together? And I just want to point out, and it's cool to be excited, and I'm excited too because they have a chance now. But every year, the team that does a splash in free agency gets moved up the title odds. I mean, the Clippers were the favorite to win the title when they had Paul George and they put Leonard and Kawhi together.
Yeah.
Right, Kawhi and George.
You got hurt.
The Suns were the favorite to win the title when they put their guys together. Like, this happens every summer. Someone signs a big free agent, makes a trade, and we're like, they're championship contenders. Doesn't always work. I mean, the Sixers have been very often in July one of the favorites to win the title. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a yearly thing. They were top 5 in 2019. They were top 5 in 2021, top 10, top 6-ish in 2022. We do this every summer, that we look at them and we say, yeah, they can win the title if things go right. And then things don't often go as well as we want. 215-592-9490. If you're curious what everyone thinks out there, Paul George, him simply arriving here, does it make the Sixers automatic NBA title contenders, like true contenders? I am not there yet. They have work to do, and I'd like to see, this season where they play a lot together. They stay healthy, and I feel like, all right, they've gelled by the time we get to the playoffs. 215-592-9494, get you aboard. A lot to discuss here as the Paul George excitement continues in Philadelphia. Kyle, where are you at on this as the Sixers have jumped to tied for second in the NBA title odds?
Yeah, they should be. I've seen enough. I don't even need to see who this fifth starter is going to be with the Sixers team. The Sixers are clearly automatic title contenders. Like, beyond Paul George, I think one thing that we're discounting is, and this sounds crazy to say, but because Tyrese Maxey was the most improved player last year, I think he could even get better. He's only 23. Like, he's not in his NBA prime yet. So the two-man game with Joel Embiid and Maxey could improve now that they've had continuity together. And I know that everyone's worried about the amount of time Joel Embiid misses. Last year is more of an outlier for amount of time that Joel Embiid misses in the regular season than it is the norm. Like, he's before that, he was 66 games, 68 games. Like, if Joel Embiid plays 66, 68 games, they're going to be a top 2 seed in the NBA. And Paul George doesn't have to be a 1 now, right? You don't have to run the offense through Paul George. He's just a complement to what Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey are going to bring. The nature of the NBA is that if you're a top 4 team in the entire league or a top 2 roster in the East, which I firmly believe they are, they're past the Knicks. I think they're right there with the Celtics. Then they're going to have a shot. Like, it's just a matter of them gelling at the right time at the end of the season, which, I think people go a little bit overboard with the whole, we're screwed. They're just always going to be injured. Like, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to see a team that's together and ready to go make a run for it by the end of the season.
I hope you're right. And of all the things I said, the continuity is the one that I need to see it. So in the last, since 2000, I believe it's 16 of the 24 champions have had roster continuity of at least 60%, meaning most of their roster was coming back from the year before. How many guys are back from last year's roster? How many guys are they going to have back? So we know
3.
It's Embiid, obviously. Maxey, Oubre. The rest of this team's pretty darn different. I guess Ricky Council, if we want to go towards the bench.
Yeah, we talking about I thought you were talking about I'm looking at the starters, the major contributors.
No, I think it's better to go your way. Most of the guys are going to be new.
Well, how many of those teams have guys that were worth bringing back for another year? Like, does anyone want Tobias back just because of continuity?
No. I agree. Continuity for continuity's sake is stupid, but
you need good players.
I will say
it matters to gel and be at your best. Why do these new teams that just form on the horizon don't just win in their first year? It's hard. It's hard.
And because I think there's a lot. I think this is all predicated on where Paul George is and what we're asking him to be. Because to your point, Joe, I think that whatever we get from Paul George, I know continuity is a big thing, but it's going to be way better than what we got before. From everybody, I mean,
say it from Tobias. I'm
not saying that. I'm not trying to be Captain Obvious. I'm not trying to be Captain Obvious here, but the bar, like, let's be honest, the bar ain't that high.
The bar's at the ground.
You know what I'm saying? The bar's not that high. So it's one of those things where I'm willing for a little bit of, like, whatever growing pains they go through, it's going to be better than what we had before. And if the growing pains for the beginning of the season, 17, 18 points a game, hell, that's better than 10. That's better than 0 for 41 minutes. You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
So, hell, I'll take 8 points a game at that point if you get that 8-point consistency, because that's not something that you've had before in the past from that position.
215-592-9494. Does the signing of Paul George make the Sixers an automatic title contender? Many people believe so. I mean, FanDuel has them as the second best odds to win the whole thing, only behind the Celtics. They're tied with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I see the talent, and they certainly will be good. I mean, I'd be shocked if the Sixers, barring major injury, aren't a good team, aren't a top 3 seed at the bare minimum. But like there's plenty of top 3 seeds that really aren't actually title contenders. They're just good teams. Like a title contender means you think they can actually raise the trophy this coming season. Are you there with the Sixers? 215-592-9494. Does the George signing really put them in that category as a legitimate title contender? I need to see it first before I just automatically believe it.